Just thought I'd show you one quick little simplification of the code that we can do. So in our drawing code right now, you can see how we have basically the exact same block of code now repeated 5 different times for the different sprite groups. And the only thing different in every one is just um, the sprite group itself, and all of the rest of the code is identical. So we can actually simplify that a little bit. Let me show you how. First thing I'm going to do is go up here, and I'm going to just make a new sprite group. And I'm going to call this sprite group all sprites. And I'm going to go ahead and add it to that global list. And so after we load all of our entities or characters, blocks, everything from the game, we fill up all of our sprite groups. I'm just going to go down here to the very end. I'm in the start level function, and I'm going to say all sprites add, and we're going to add the player and the platforms and the items, enemies, and the goal. And so this is all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sprite groups. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sprite groups. Yes. So now we have one group that contains all of the sprites. We still need to be able to refer to them individually because what the hero only interacts with certain sprites and does different things based on what kind they are. So we need the separate groups, but we can also have one group that contains them all. And so what I get to do now is I'll just go down here and just say all for sprite in, and I say all sprites. And then I can delete all of that drawing code, and it's going to put everyone on the screen. And so there we go. Right. Just one more little thing we can do along the same lines is like now that we have this all sprites group, I could actually go into my update section, and I am only updating 2 things right now, the player and the enemies. The rest of the objects in my game don't have update code, but that doesn't matter. We can, all sprites have an empty update function by default, so we can just replace that with all sprites and simplify that a little bit as well. Just one caution on this, right? When you have a sprite group, there is no ordering that you have any control of. And so if you do have sprites that you want to be able to go pass in front of or behind other sprites, combining them all into a single group isn't going to work. So you may actually need to, you could simplify a little bit, but you might need to keep track of a group of maybe background sprites and foreground sprites, and then like your main sprites, and maybe repeat a block like this 2 or 3 times to control the layering. The other thing you have to be careful of is if in your game you are, like right now the way we have it coded, sprites are only spawned at the beginning of a level. But if you have anything in your game where perhaps an event that occurs during the level causes a new sprite to spawn, you're going to have to make sure that you put it in, the appropriate sprite group here and into all sprites, because all sprites will not update. Like if you start putting more enemies in during the level play, all sprites will not be updating. You'll have to add into both. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little tip, and that's all I got. If you have any questions, just let me know.